Okay, male hormone panel. And this is so significant for everybody here. Cholesterol is the precursor. Everybody thinks that cholesterol is the bad guy. But here's what I want you to understand from learning about these tests. When you're under stress, your body's going to use and make more cortisone up. When your body runs out of cortisone, it will make more cholesterol to make the pregnenolone, to make the progesterone. Can you see? Eventually to make the testosterone. Men can have male menopause. It's called andropause because their adrenal glands are not able to make enough testosterone. Men start getting flabby tissue. When a woman has too much testosterone, as a side note, oftentimes it can come from a cyst on their ovaries. Sometimes if a woman has a hairy lip, a lot of hair starts growing on their body. It could be too much testosterone, not being balanced properly. You want your liver to be functioning properly. So there's a few little nuggets that I've learned. Testosterone gives muscle tone. Now there are men that are watching me right now, for these men here in the room. You don't want to take a synthetic testosterone. You don't want to take a testosterone hormone. It can throw your body off. Actually, I've seen a lot of people really screw their bodies up by taking outside hormones like DHEA, etc. And you saw what happened with hormone replacement therapy that women were taking. They were taking the hormone replacement therapy from Premarin. I don't know if you all know what Premarin comes from. It's horse pee. It's pregnant mare urine. So when women were taking this pregnant mare urine or Premarin, it was too much estrogens for their body. So men can make estrogen also. Actually, if a man does not get his liver functioning optimally and he has too much estrogen in his body, men can start growing breasts. And I think you're going to start seeing more men with larger breasts because there's too much estrogen inside of our environment today. So if a man's listening to me right now and you have little red bumps in your body or the cherry hemangiomas, that's very serious. Now I just read a very interesting article, and it was about water having estrogen in it and canned food. I just want you to be aware that canned food today is not healthy. Because canned food has a plastic lining inside of it, and when they heat that can, estrogens are released. And you don't want any child that has too much estrogen inside of their body. So, the male hormones are also regulated by the pituitary gland. I think that's really significant for you. So let's close up with this last one. It's the gastrointestinal health panel. Now here's something that I think is very fascinating. Today in America, we have an enormous problem with parasites. They estimate that up to 80 million Americans have a parasite problem. You get parasites from sushi, pork, wild game, having your child be at a daycare center, and having a cat at home. People have cats, sushi, pork, wild game. Those are all, or if you travel out of the country. You know, I have patients every week they go somewhere, and they're always going somewhere. And you know, they go to Costa Rica, they go to South America. I said patients just came back from Argentina. People that go to the Mid-East. You know, I just had some pastor friends of mine that spent time in Uganda. You know, if you don't take care of yourself, you come back, you hang around them, guess what? You get their parasites. So I just want you to be aware that this is no small deal. That's one of the reasons that I use Agriset myself every day. So what the test does is the test has 3 stool samples and 2 samples of your saliva. We're checking out many organisms that are inside of your body. Now, if you have a concern that you think you might have a parasite challenge, there's a blood test called a CBC. A CBC, which is a complete blood count with a differential. It's not on the paper, you have to write that down. A CBC / with a differential, DIFF. When you look at the CBC with a differential, you look at the eosinophil count, and it's abbreviated EOS. If you look at any of your blood tests that you might have at home and your EOS is elevated, it could be elevated because you have parasites inside of your body. Now I'm going to tell you something that's really disgusting. Are you ready for this? Parasites love sugar. Now, you may or may not realize, but parasites usually get to eat first in your body. That means whatever you put down your mouth, it goes to them. So if there's parasites hanging down in your stomach, and you're throwing a candy bar down there, guess what? They are very happy, 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 because you are feeding them. Now, what's disgusting, like I mentioned to you, the parasites eat, and guess what they get done after they're eating? They poop. They go to the bathroom inside of you. And the toxins that come from parasites, or the excrement that comes from parasites, is toxic. I believe in my heart that sometimes people get some issues with MS and some other neurologic conditions because of the parasites. I have one female patient that we were really not able to help. She had 5 cats in her house, and these cats were drinking water out of her cup. That's pretty nasty. I was down in Florida visiting a woman who a friend of mine asked me to go speak to. She had pancreas cancer. She had 3 cats in her house. The cats were drinking from her cup too. If you have cats and you're listening to me right now, you know, my hat goes off to you, but I have found so many times that people have chronic health problems have cats. And cats cause more parasites to be inside of your body. We can test for that. If you consume certain fish and it's not cooked properly, that's why it's always important to cook your food all the way through. Haven't you noticed what's going on in the paper in our society today? That you're getting all these organisms from all this uncooked food and it's not processed properly? You could have chronic long-term health problems because of parasites inside of your body. So let me tie all this together for you. We have incorporated these saliva testings just to give us another venue to find out what's happening inside of you to feed your body right. It's not about taking bioidentical hormones. It's about feeding your adrenal glands. It's about getting your liver to function optimally. It's about getting your pituitary to function optimally. You see, sometimes your brain might not be telling the rest of the body what to do. And I know that some of you think that might be silly, that you have people in your family that you know their brains aren't telling the rest of the body what to do. But you have to feed the body properly. And if you're talking to someone that always seems like they're in a fog, they probably are nutritionally starved. So we have these tests that are available. I know they'll make a huge difference in somebody's life, especially if you're trying to get back. It's a good part of your strategy for long-term health. Thank you so much.
Stop.